To the Himalayan Kingdom of Bhutan now, where modern development is slowly making its mark. Most countries in the world measure their progress and economic output by something called GDP, Gross Domestic Product. Bhutan's king, however, has introduced a concept of development quite different to any other. He coined it Gross National Happiness, a system where success is measured by balancing his people's social, emotional, and cultural needs. S.YU found out more.
It's one of the most breathtaking countries in the world. Blessed with snow-capped Himalayan peaks, clear running rivers, and an array of flora and fauna not seen anywhere else in the world. Yet, at the same time, Bhutan is also one of the poorest nations on Earth. 80% of the 700,000 people who live in this tiny mountain kingdom eke out a living as farmers on small plots of land. The average income, just $700 a year. But money isn't how Bhutan measures its success. It's not about gross national product, it's about something Bhutan calls gross national happiness.
The term was coined by the king in the 1970s when a group of journalists in India asked him, "What is your gross national product?" The king said, "We're not interested in gross national product, we're interested in gross national happiness." Now we heard it, and it's become an inspiration to Bhutan's development. It's really a reminder that you cannot sacrifice everything for material development.
Until recently, the king believed that Bhutan's strength lay in its isolation. But ultimately, Bhutan decided it had to develop to survive, and it would only do so on its own terms.
Basically, Bhutan, since it decided to open up, consciously decided in the early 60s, it's been very, very cautious. And this caution is visible in development, in its environmental policy, in its tourism policy, in its business, in its media policies. Bhutan decided that, okay, we will develop, it's inevitable, but we will develop at our own pace.
And develop it has. Carts and ponies used to be the major mode of transport. Now cars and trucks motor across from more than 1,500 kilometers of paved roads, stretching across Bhutan. A new hydroelectric plant churns out electricity to homes across the country, and there's even enough to sell the surplus to neighboring India. And communication has become easier with the introduction of mobile phones and the internet. Even Bhutan's monarchy has been overhauled. The king recently handed over most of his power to public officials.
It is no longer the center, nor the district authorities who determine where a school should be built, how many schools should be built, where the bridges should come up, what kind of hospitals they should have, and so on. It is the people at the village, elected people, who decide.
One of the challenges Bhutan faces is to spur development while maintaining the country's unique religious and cultural identity. As more young people become educated, more are moving off the farm and to the cities in search of a better life. And that's putting pressure on urban planners. Preserving Bhutan's natural environment is a primary goal.
The main theme is that we have to maintain as a Bhutanese traditional way of living, our culture and this thing. Even the housing, we don't want very high-rise buildings. Because of shortage of land, we may have to go up to 4 or 5 stories, but not more than that. We don't want skyscrapers to come into Thimphu.
A deep reverence for nature has led Bhutan to protect the environment by imposing some of the strictest standards in the world. Commercial logging has been banned. Just cutting a single tree requires government permission. And the government has put a limit on the number of tourists allowed into the country each year to keep the impact on the land to a minimum. There's also a push to preserve Bhutan's traditional art forms. The government has opened training centers where ancient skills are passed down to young artisans. And as Bhutan begins to open up, it hopes to avoid the economic disparities that plague developing countries.
The rich in Bhutan are still not very rich. And the poor in Bhutan are not as poor as one might see in some of the developing countries. There is no abject poverty. We have no homelessness.
While there's no way to gauge the level of gross national happiness, the perception from foreigners is that it's a success.
I think people are living with pride of their culture, their environment. I think it is very, very important. Of course, Bhutan is a small country, and maybe in the future will be influenced by other cultures. But as far as they are living with dignity and pride, the Bhutan will be able to survive with their own distinctive culture and environment as it is.
So Bhutan is hoping to achieve a balance by protecting its traditions and embracing the best of what the West has to offer. Its next ambition is to join the World Trade Organization. And while that could bring with it future problems, Bhutan's leaders are hoping it will boost the Gross National Happiness Index even higher.